Gentlemen, what is going on today? My name is Brian Mickler, and I am your host and the founder of the Order of Man podcast. If you're new to what we're doing here, this is a movement dedicated and designed to help reclaim and restore masculinity in this society that is weak and cowardly and pathetic and overly effeminate. And it's my job to give you the tools and the conversations and resources to equip you as men to lead your families, lead yourselves, lead your communities, lead your business and your neighbors well. So we have this conversation here, the Friday Field Notes, where you get to hear some of my thoughts from throughout the week. We've got our interview show where I interview guys like Mike Chandler, David Goggins, Jocko Willink, Andrew Vasilla, Tim Kennedy, John Eldridge. I could go on and on and on. I think we're up to almost 800 episodes at this point. And then, of course, we do our Ask Me Anything with my co-host and friend, Kip Sorensen. So make sure if you're just tuning in for the first time, or if you haven't done this yet, go in and leave a rating review. I think we've got, 6,000, 7,000 ratings. Let's bump those up. Those are rookie numbers, right? Let's bump those up to 10,000. And all it would take is a handful of you or a small percentage of you going in and leaving the rating and review on iTunes or Spotify or Stitcher or Pandora or wherever you're doing the podcast thing. All right, guys. With all that said, no other announcements. I want to get into something that gets brought up quite often, and that's this concept of vision. Now, I'm talking with you about this because we have a program called 30 Days to Battle Ready. 30 Days to Battle Ready. It's a free program. It's a series of emails that you receive over 30 days that are going to help you elevate your life and your performance and produce maximum results. And the first component of it is vision. So I ask every single person that signs up for this program. And by the way, if you're interested, you can do that at orderofman.com/battle ready, orderofman.com/battle ready. But I ask every single one of the guys who joins this program what they're struggling with most right now. And one of the most overwhelming answers that I receive is that men are struggling with their vision, what they want to create, what they want their life to look like. And so that's the first thing that we go through. And then what we do over a course of 30 days is work them into turning their vision into a reality. And isn't that what we all want? I mean, we all have vision. I've never met a single man who didn't have some sort of aspiration or goal for the future, whether that's big and audacious and huge, or whether it's, a small little incremental growth. All of us have an idea of what the future might look like. But why is it then that so few do anything about it? And there's only those select few who actually do, and they move the needle and they move in the right direction. And that's because there's 3 points that I want to share with you today that I've identified that all of my guests have incorporated in their lives in order to move their vision into a reality. And that's what you want. You don't want to sit around and daydream and think about how good things can be without actually working towards those things. In fact, the most depressed and down I've been in my life is the moments when I thought highly of what my future might hold, but there was a great discrepancy between that and the work that I was actually doing to achieve those results. And the wider that gap is, I call it the integrity gap. The wider that gap is, the more headache and frustration, contention, despair that you will experience. And if you're in the midst of that right now, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. Or perhaps you've been in that position in the past. I don't want you to be there, guys. I want you to turn your vision into a reality. So for the sake of just getting into it, let's talk about it. Number one, I want you to dream big, but work small. Dream big, but work small. A little counterintuitive, not the dream big part. Everybody talks about that. You got to dream big. You got to have these big, hairy, audacious goals. And you do. And I think that's important. I think it's important that you really think about your life in the most opportunistic, grand way. Because if you're going to think about your life in any way, it might as well be the biggest, the best, the most wonderful, the one where you create the most prosperity for yourself and the people that you care about. So keep dreaming, dream big. Now, once you start having these dreams, it's not enough just to sit around in fantasy land and just pontificate on what could be. You actually have to put it into work. But what I see a lot of guys do is they'll dream so big that they think their actions need to be big as well, that if they don't hit the grand slam or the home run, then it's not worth doing at all. Well, that isn't true. the most successful people in the world, and again, I've identified this because I've had hundreds and hundreds of podcasts with extremely successful men, is they work small. And that doesn't mean that the work they do is insignificant. It means that they're working on small little daily actions that are going to inevitably, over the course of 30 days, 90 days, 365 days, 3,000 days, 10,000 days, et cetera, will produce and yield the biggest results. So what most goal planners and self-help gurus and all these kind of people will do is they'll say, oh, dream big, dream, 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 dream. And they'll talk about, the secret. You can manifest it. You can will it to existence. Well, that's nice. It sounds really good. But what I would suggest, and I think the better, more pragmatic approach to this, is that you dream big and then you start to reverse engineer the process into small, actionable steps that you can do on a daily basis. Now, I bring this up because I've been thinking a lot about this as we have built I remodeled our barn. And when we moved to this home and this property a little over 2 years ago, it was a mess. I saw the potential. I had vision for what this barn could potentially look like. And over the past several weeks, we've really done some things that putting railings on, refinishing the floors, adding new lighting. We're putting 2 big, huge industrial fans in there to move the air and keep it cool. Like, we've done some things over the past couple of weeks that have really made it into what I had envisioned it would be 2.5 or so years ago. And as I was thinking about what we've created, it would have been very easy for me to be overwhelmed with how much work needed to be done, right? Everybody tells you big, hairy, audacious goals, like think grandly, think big, all great. But if it actually is so big that it becomes overwhelming to you, that you don't move forward, then you're never going to turn your vision into reality. So have that big goal. Here's my vision for the barn, or here's my vision for my job. Here's my vision for my relationship with my wife. Here's my vision. And then now we reverse engineer into those small daily steps. When we started building the canoe, my son and I, it was very overwhelming. I took the book that I received, and it's a big, thick book on how to build a canoe. And I started to read the entire thing. And I was so overwhelmed with all of this work that I actually delayed our start because I was so overwhelmed with it. And somebody wise told me, you don't need to read chapter 2 or 3 or 4 or 10. You just need to read the chapter that you're on right now. And as I started to do that, and I focused on not the entire project, but building the strong back, which is what the bench that the canoe is built on, then setting up the molds, which is what you build the canoe around, then doing the strips, then doing the stems, then closing the bottom, then fiberglassing it, then sanding it, then fiberglassing, then sanding it, then glassing it. Like, focus on one step at a time, guys. And over the course of 30, 90, 60 days, whatever it is, a year, 10 years, you will see those big incremental changes in your life because you focused on the small. So again, number one is to dream big, but work small. Work small. Number two, I call it focused variety. Focused variety. We actually talked about this on our Ask Me Anything on Wednesday with regards to people losing focus. Because it's easy to lose focus. We get distracted, or things aren't as exciting as they once were. The luster wears off. You get distracted with life and everything else that you have to do. And so it's very easy to fall off of the path that you're on because of everything else. And it's hard to focus at times. I get really hopped up and hyped up about projects and things that I have going on. And unless I can focus over long and sustained periods of time, I'm never going to achieve the results that I want. So I've learned a tactic that I've applied in my life called focused variety. And so it's not haphazard variety. It's not just random, whatever pops into my mind variety. It's focused variety, meaning that all of the variety and the variabilities that I'm going to engage in on my trek to grow the business, or to build a canoe, or to be on my jujitsu path, or to improve my health, or to develop my relationship, or to build out the barn, is all the work that I'm doing is focused on the final result, the vision for what I have. It's all focused on that. But sometimes I need to take a break from one particular tactic or strategy or outlet and I need to focus on something else. Now, a lot of people might say, well, that's wasted time and energy. And if your metric for success was purely staying focused on one task until it's done, then I would say yes, but that isn't the metric for success. The metric for success, I assume for you as it is for me, is to actually complete the project. So if you're so focused on one thing and you burn yourself out to the point where you don't complete the project or you don't realize the vision, then were you a success? I guess you were successful maybe to some degree in doing one thing really, really well. But again, it's about completing the objective and realizing the vision. So for me, what I need to do is I need to have some variability, to have some variety in my work. And so I might be working on one task and I'll do that for a couple of weeks or a couple of days, and I'll get really, really bored with that. And then I'll move on to something else that still needs to be done, that will still move the needle in the right direction, but recharge and re-energize and give me a new excitement and passion about what it is I'm doing. Because passion is important. You know, a lot of people will say, well, discipline is greater than motivation. Well, it can be. Sure, when the motivation expires, sometimes you're going to need to be disciplined and you're just going to trench through and get it done. But I don't know that motivation is inferior to discipline necessarily, because maybe you can keep yourself motivated by changing things up. Focused, still working on the task at hand, but doing it in a different way or focusing on a different element or dynamic of the task in order to achieve your big results. And in that case, motivation served you very, very well. So I'm not willing to throw motivation under the bus just because I'm supposed to be as disciplined as I possibly can be. Now, I want to complete the objective. And that means that, yeah, sometimes I need to trench through and other times I need to mix it up so I can stay engaged and stay on target. All right. And the third one, guys, I wanted to share with you. So number one, again, we have dream big, work small. Number two, we have focused variety. And then the third one is honor the journey. Honor the journey. Somebody had told me the other day, I think Michael Chandler, when I had him on the podcast, or released on Tuesday, he said something like, and I'm paraphrasing, he said that maybe the goal is the journey. That's a pretty interesting thought, that maybe the goal is the journey, because most people will talk about the goal being the goal. Like, I need to reach that destination. If that's the only thing you're worried about, then what are you going to do in the meantime in order to achieve that objective? Are you going to lie, cheat, steal, sacrifice your morals and your standards? Maybe, if that's all that matters. But what if instead that the goal that you should be having is the journey, is honoring the journey, honoring the path, knowing that you're getting better, knowing that you're improving, knowing that you're working towards something. There's the Kaizen method, which is, if I remember correctly, the 1% better each and every day. And you honor that. Hey, I'm not the pinnacle of where I need to be, but I'm 1% better than I was yesterday. And tomorrow I'm 1% better than that, 1% better than that, 1% better than that. And isn't that a beautiful thing? Can't you find joy and satisfaction and fulfillment and meaning and purpose in getting 1% better every single day? Because look, when I look at the gap, again, to go back to that integrity gap, the gap between where I want to be and where I currently am, that can be disheartening. And it's going to narrow over time. Hopefully it's going to get smaller. Hopefully it doesn't get wider. But what if instead of worrying about that gap and it may be diminishing or demoralizing my goals and ambitions and desires and even actions, what if instead I just focused on, I'm a little better today. 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 And what that requires is an after action review. We've talked about that at length, but just recapping your day. What did I get done? What didn't I get done? What do I want to do better tomorrow? Where did I thrive? Where did I fall behind? And being very honest with yourself about where you are. And as you do, I think you're going to realize that you can get 1% better every day, and that you do honor the process and you honor the journey. Because what most people will do, they despise the journey. Most people do. They despise the journey. They want the journey to be over. It's like, just give me the result. No work, no effort, no time, no progress. I just want the result without the effort. And that's the natural man that I've talked about. You know, go ask 100 people today. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? And they'll say, oh, here we are on, well, it's Friday now, but as I'm recording this, here we are on Tuesday. And I just can't wait for the weekend. Okay, well, you're not honoring the journey. What about the 3 or 4 or 5 days that you have that lead up to the weekend? You're going to waste all of that because you're so focused on the result or the end or the deadline. that you can't find meaning and purpose and significance in the work to get there? What a miserable way to live. And I've lived there. I've been there. It's hard and it's disheartening. It's frustrating. But man, as soon as I started finding joy in being present, joy in the process, joy in the journey, honoring that journey, knowing that I am getting 1% better, or at least I'm working towards it, the more joy I found in it. And not ironically, the quicker I reached my objective and my destination. And sometimes I looked up and I thought to myself, holy cow, I didn't even realize I was here. I didn't know I had arrived at this goal. There's no arrival, by the way, but I didn't know that I had achieved this goal that I was after because I was so focused on the result. I've done that with my health journey. I've done that with my financial aspirations. I've done that with my career and business objectives. You look up and all of a sudden you realize, oh, I already hit that goal like 6 months ago. I didn't even realize it. Yes, because you're focused on the journey and you're honoring that process and that system. And guys, there's a lot of other things, of course, that we can talk about, but I just wanted to share 3 easy mindsets, 3 easy strategies or shifts in the way that you view it that will help you achieve your visions and turn those dreams and that vision into a reality quicker. That's what I want for you. I think that's what you want. And that's what this podcast is about. So, number 1, dream big. Keep dreaming big. Keep having those big aspirations. I'm not saying to rein those in or pull those back. You shouldn't. Keep dreaming big, but work small. Dream big, work small. Number 2, focused variety. Mix it up. You got to change it up here and there. Otherwise, you're going to burn yourself up. And that's not going to produce the result over long and sustained periods of time. So focused variety. And then number 3 is to honor that journey. Honor the path. Be aware of it. Be proud of it. Get 1% better every day. Analyze it, review it, do the after action review at the end of every day, and make sure you're still on the path. All right, guys. Very short one for you today, but hopefully that's impactful. Just let me know. Shoot me a message, primarily on Instagram. That's where I'm most active, at Ryan Mickler. Make sure you follow me over there. Let me know what's working for you, what isn't working for you. I get messages and DMs and comments and stuff every day from you guys, which I really, really appreciate. It's becoming increasingly difficult to get back with you guys because so many of you are reaching out, but I will make every effort that I can. You have my commitment to do that, to connect with you, to follow up with you, to even celebrate with you as you achieve your own goals and objectives, as you turn your own vision into a reality. I'm excited for what the future holds. There's a lot of weird stuff going on, to say the least, in society today, but it's men like us who are going to fix all of this to get us back on track, to bring honor and virtue back into society, to lead our families well, to lead with honor and integrity and strength and class. We're missing that. We're lacking that in a lot of ways. And I think we can do a better job. We are doing a better job. So please make sure you share this. Let guys know where you're getting this information. If it's serving you, then it would definitely serve somebody else. And let's continue to turn those visions into a reality. All right, guys, we'll be back next week. Until then, go out there, take action, and become the man you are meant to be.